This is Operation B, the podcast about living with intention, building what feels true, and dropping the things that don't. A place where purpose meets practice. I'm Jamie Thurber, your host, and together we'll explore how to live with clarity, freedom, and alignment without burning out or losing yourself, because it's time to be who you're meant to be. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Operation B. I'm your host, Jamie Thurber, and today I just want to record a quick mindset shift that I think that we all could use. So if you have not already watched my previous episode last week where I interviewed Kelly Chase, who is a retired NHL enforcer. So his primary job, what that means is his primary job in hockey was fighting to protect the key players on the team so that they could score and they could do what they needed to do to win points. It's the same role that Tony had when he played hockey. So with that role requires a specific kind of mindset. It requires a specific ability to play that role on the ice and off the ice. So when you look at a man like Kelly Chase who did that, and he did that well, that tends to be the one thing everybody wants to talk to him about. And then a couple of years ago, he was diagnosed with leukemia, and so that also becomes the thing that everybody wants to talk to him about. And while, yes, we did cover and talk about a bit of each of those things, if you haven't figured it out yet, my goal with Operation B and the guests that I bring on is to talk to them about being a person, is to talk to them about their experiences and how they utilize and navigate life based on their experiences and their, desire for their life to be XYZ kind of way. And so, with that being said, one of the things that I pride myself on, or I try to do, is ask questions and talk about the person, not just the accomplishment, not just the thing that's on their title, because I don't think we do that enough. And those are the places where I personally learn the most. So, I believe that every person that listens to a conversation or a story is going to take away something different from it, which is why I love storytelling so much. That's why being with the podcast production company works so well for me, because I'm helping dozens of companies and individuals tell their stories. And then the people who sit in the chair next to them tell their stories. And I know that when we listen to each other's stories, and this has been going on since the beginning of people, when we listen to stories, we learn from them, we connect from them, we get something that we do miss a lot in this day and age because we don't have as much human connection in the same room as our family members, in centuries before us did. And we're not as communal as we once were. So anyway, that's always been my objective, and my goal is to give a space where we can create a spot where each person is going to take something different away from the conversation. So with that being said, I knew that most likely when I was asking Kelly those questions last week about him as a man and like how his determination and how he builds businesses and how he stays in a positive mindset through all the hard things, whether it was fighting or his dad dying at a young age or his being diagnosed with leukemia and everything in between, the response that he had is something that each and every one of us have the ability to possess. Each and every one of us have the ability to make the choice to just keep trying and show up anyway. And that's something that I've always told my clients and my audience and my people that I talk to, but I don't know that they've always heard me, because it's like, oh yeah, Jamie, that's cool for you. So one of the things I like to highlight when I have a guest on the show is that it's not just me. Like, I'm not some person who's just telling you that you should do this thing or what works for me. It's that each one of my guests has a little different way of saying it, a little different way of doing it. But at the end of the day, the baseline premise of what they're telling you, that is their tool or their secret that they use to continue and like keep on and to build the things they want, isn't really a secret at all. It's not anything that you can't obtain or that anyone couldn't obtain. They don't have a special path, meaning like that you don't have access to. A lot of people assume that. They think, especially with pro athletes, I deal with it all the time with Tony, people assume that he has these special advantages. And like, yeah, there are advantages that come with people that you meet from having those lifestyles. But at the same time, if Tony and Kelly didn't possess the baseline of who they are as humans, right, of men, of how they show up every day, if that didn't exist, they would have never been pro athletes to begin with. So my goal and my hope is that you can listen to that episode, especially the part where he talks about doing the push-ups and how every day he showed up and tried even when he couldn't. Imagine the mind fuck that had to have been for a man who was doing 300, who could fight the biggest guys in the NHL, right? Like having your mindset have to shift around the fact that you're so weak at this point and your body is doing what it's doing, trying to fight cancer, that you can't even do one push-up, like, but you still show up every day and try. I mean, come on, guys. Like, talk about inspirational and also like a kick in the nuts, right? If you're over here like, oh, I can't do it, it's like, yeah, you can. You just have to want it. You just have to want your life to be different or want the thing to be different. And you got to show up every day and try. It matters so much. So that is my biggest message for today. I really wanted to point that out. So if you have not watched that episode, I highly suggest that you do. We're going to link it below here in the show notes because it is a very valuable conversation for everyone to listen to, whether you ever have cared about hockey or not. For those of you who don't know, like I didn't meet Tony because of hockey. That had nothing to do with our relationship, and it really still doesn't, other than it's a job he used to have. So I highly suggest you go watch that. If you do, let me know what you think. Share it with someone that you think may find it valuable, and as well as this conversation. As always, thank you for being here. Be sure to give this a thumbs up or a like wherever you're watching. Leave us a comment, and if you have not yet done so, please leave a review for the show. It'll just take a minute, and it does help us continue doing the show and getting it out in front of more people. Thank you so much for being here, and wherever you are, I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you for listening to Operation B, the podcast. To support this message and to support the show, please make sure that you like, follow, and share wherever you enjoy listening. And be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. That's the way to support this message. Thank you for being here, and see you next time.